My name is Michael. I've been absolutely fascinated by tabletop role-playing games for the better part of my life, and no, I am not a skinwalker with face blindness and an insatiable appetite for small YouTube creators. I'm just a human person. Like you. Welcome to Roll With Me. Well, friends, the world is actively falling apart around us, my country is on fire, and there seems to be no end in sight, so f*** it, let's talk about role-playing games. My favorite game is Monster of the Week. It's a game that I have covered so exclusively over the past few years that this channel should really have a name more specific to the game Monster of the Week, but there is a YouTube series called Monster of the Week, and it's actually about monsters in Dungeons & Dragons, and we all know that, nope, we're not going there yet. If you're new here, Monster of the Week is a theater of the mind tabletop role-playing game, set in a world full of ghosts, ghouls, and grotesquerie where every horror movie is a documentary and doom is always lurking just around the corner. In Monster of the Week, you and your friends take up the mantle of monster hunters and assemble a ragtag party of do-gooders to keep the world safe, both from the monsters themselves and from the knowledge that they exist in the first place. Each hunter stands as an archetype on the team, sourced straight from classic Monster of the Week TV tropes, each with their own set of skills and moves. These archetypes are called playbooks. If you're coming from a working knowledge of more conventional TTRPGs, you could consider the playbooks the closest approximation to classes. But you know what? Let's not do that because Dungeons & Dragons, still too early. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite playbooks in Monster of the Week. Full of magic and mystery, this archetype brings a fair bit of complexity to the table. So lay out your crystals and light up your smudge sticks. It's time to talk about the Hex. Found in the second Monster of the Week book,
The Tome of Mysteries,
the Hex is a force of magical fury and mayhem who grabbed life by the broomstick and bargained with forces beyond our understanding for powers beyond their control. In other words, you might say,
she's a witch. A witch! A witch!
Oh yes. Witches have been characterized in many ways throughout countless instances of pop culture, some more flattering than others. The concept of witchcraft, or the possession and application of occult knowledge, has been the subject of relentless persecution for centuries, all thanks to the Roman Senate of 186 BCE, or as they are known to academics, the Council of Poopy Diaper No Fun Boys. These paragons of male fragility outlawed the practice of any and all spirituality concerning the old Roman pantheon when they found out their wives were getting spicy with the priestesses of Bacchus on girls' night and they weren't invited. And then another world-dominating religious authority spent hundreds of years trying to burn or hang any woman who stepped out of line. But we're not here to learn dark truths about history. We're here for escapism. Now, this is all to say that there is no singular definition of a witch that will please everybody. So it only stands to reason that the Hex playbook should offer a wide variety of flavors to represent familiar tropes of witchcraft. And, well, it does that. It does exactly that. The Hex is driven by ambition. Unlike the Spellslinger's enchanted tomes, the Spooky's born talents, or the Pararomantic's extracurricular power source, the Hex sought out great and powerful magics in a time of need, and they found it. This ambition is the source of one of my favorite mechanics in the entire game, the Hex's temptation. Be it by vengeance, power, addiction, callousness, carnage, secrets, or glory, the Hex is supernaturally tempted by a dangerous drive as part of the cost for wielding such deadly power. Whenever this temptation arises, the Hex will have to roll to act under pressure to resist. Succumbing to this dark urge, no, not that dark urge, can lead to some extremely undesirable narrative consequences, which is why I love this idea so much. Because what fun is being a keeper if you can't weaponize your friend's character flaws against them? Wait. Another fun mechanic that sets the Hex apart is the rote system. Whenever the Hex uses magic, they can then remember and record what they did, essentially developing a DIY grimoire of utility spells to be used as unique moves. These rotes will take a bit more time or require more complex components, but will have a more surefire outcome, having been successfully employed before. In this system, there's a massive gray area in the format and requirements of making the rotes themselves. So the process will be up to the Hex and their keeper in the spirit of good and fair collaboration and not breaking the entire game, because it is very, very very easy to do that. Games rooted in theater of the mind are precious and fragile and special. We have known this ever since we were children, and our stick was a sword, and our brother's stick was the super ultimate mega destructo magical sword of invincibility and doom, and then he broke our stick sword because it wasn't as powerful as his stick sword. Is that just a me thing? I think that might be a me thing. Anyway, the Hex's primary rating is weird, obviously. It would be weird if it wasn't weird. That sounded weird. Each of the moves the playbook offers expands on the effects of using magic. Your spells can pierce armor or immolate large swaths of land. They can grant you ongoing benefits or heal wounds. They can even cancel out other magic around you, which is super fresh and narratively fun. But Michael, you say, Gale of Waterdeep can cast Counterspell at level 5, you say. Well, Baldur's Gate 3 is barely D&D, but it's still D&D, and we're not going to talk about that right now because we all know that Monster of the Week is not D&D, although I would do anything for that hot hunk of water Davian wizard. I love you, Larian Studios. Please put me in your next game. Anyway, there are two fun moves that break the mold here. Sympathetic Token allows you to keep a personal object belonging to someone, granting you the ability to use magic on them at great distances. And Cast the Bones lets you employ tarot cards, runes, or other occult instruments to divine information about the future. I do love that the reading stuff is left up to the imagination, like there's no specific rules and requirements, because tarot and runes and other forms of esoteric divination, they're pretty personal, and they're spread across a lot of cultures, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. Just like there is no singular definition of a witch, there is no singular way to read tarot or runes or tea leaves or what have you. It's all deeply personal, and so I love that they keep it open. So there's no like specific mechanic to what the cards mean and what they do, and I like that. It's nice. Now there is one more thing that sets the Hex apart from everything else in the game, and that is the standard Hex move automatically applied to the character. It's called Bad Luck Charm, and it means that any and all backlash from your dangerous and volatile powers won't hurt you. Instead, it will target your friends. Couple this with the fact that every time the Hex expends a luck point, the backlash ramps up and gets nastier. I mean, hey, you might get really lucky and accidentally hit the monster instead of one of your friends, but that's not really up to you, is it? Jokes aside, the raw power and volatility of this playbook can make for some truly elevated storytelling in your Monster of the Week game. To give you an idea of the sheer amount of narrative potential of the Hex, just look at this unreleased description of the playbook from its early development. Well, I think that's going to do it for me today, but before you click away, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, make sure to like and subscribe and tell all your friends and comment and do all the things. Also consider joining our Discord community. There's going to be a link in the thing. We've got all sorts of stuff happening in there. I'm beat-bopping around in there. One of the authors of Monster of the Week is beat-bopping around in there. We're talking about games. We're talking about life and stuff. It's a lot of fun. Do the thing. Do the thing, because when you do the thing, it helps me do the thing. Also, I have merch on my website. A link in the thing. Lots of things with links. It's going to be great. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching. Now go play some games.